Anime Souls, aka Code Vein. Bandai Namco's very own Souls-like that can only be described as an over-the-top anime-like experience, and I actually really enjoyed it. I got to play the game for a few days thanks to the network test that just went down, and I was surprised at how much fun I was having. I mean, I'd have better have liked the game if I'm gonna make this video the top 5 best things about Code Vein. After all, this game has great plot. Man, that's some big plot right there. Jumping in at number 1, it's obvious. The customization of Code Vein is so good, it's at the point where I'm honestly just confused. When I first loaded up the network test to make my character, I heard there was some sort of customization, but I'd figured it's something similar to Souls, like maybe I'd choose a haircut, maybe like a place I was from, a skin color, make him weird blue or something. No, it's much more than that. Look at this, man. There's so many options for everything. I can change my hairstyle, but then I could have separate bangs to my specific hairstyle, or I could give myself neon glowing armor and change which pieces of armor I want on and off. Stop for a second and watch me scroll through the eyebrow options. My god. I mean, if that doesn't explain how many options there are in this customization, I don't really know what will. If you want to check out what I can do with my eyes here, I can do different irises. I've got hundreds of different eyelash options. I can give myself all kinds of weird face paint or scars and change what kind of purifier mask I want. Everything's adjustable in size, angle, placement. It's honestly ridiculous. This is the kind of customization that's so expansive and satisfying when you actually see it in game as well. I can imagine a lot of people who are interested in Code Vein just because of the customization, similar to how people feel about, MMORPG customization. In no world did they need to go this far with the customization, but they did, and what can I say other than hell yes and thank you. At number 2, there's a big variety of builds and playstyles in Code Vein, and unlike what you'd expect from a Souls-like, you don't actually need to make a new character to swap between these builds. If you want to lock in to the Berserker code, which is heavy armor, slower movement, big brutal swings with your greatsword or hammer or axe or whatever, then, well, you can. Level up your character, get in there, do that big damage, use the cool abilities of the Berserker, aka class abilities, and have a great time. But maybe you come across, let's say, a boss that's a little too quick for you to deal with and you need speed, you need agility. Well then swap code wherever you are. Put on a new weapon, such as the Ranger code and its bayonet gun, and now you've got ranged attacks to shoot out, you're much faster, more agile, and maybe you're able to deal with that boss better or that situation better. It's really freeing to know that when you level your character, it levels everything. You're not leveling specifically strength for your strength character, it just levels up everything, so you're good to go. The devs label it this way themselves, telling you to switch your build at any time. What I will say is there is a bit of a reality that they're ignoring with this description. In Code Vein, similar to Souls, you do upgrade your weapons and armor. Perhaps you've got a great bayonet for your ranger, and some suitable armor for that gameplay too that you've upgraded. So sure, you could swap to a heavy hitter code, or let's say you go a spellcaster, but your gifts won't be as leveled by comparison. Your weapon that you're choosing to use on that spellcaster, something different to that bayonet you're using on your ranger, isn't upgraded. The same could be said about your armor that you're swapping to as well. So yeah, you can swap to different playstyles, weapon, armor, gifts, anytime you want, which is great, but you do need to farm those resources and keep everything upgraded as you'd expect. It isn't that bad because you can farm power and spend it freely easily, but if you've upgraded your weapon 10 times and then you swap to like a spellcaster and put on a new weapon, well, that weapon needs upgrading as well. Moving over to number 3, let's talk about the hilarious anime over-the-top elements of this game. In Code Vein, you're a revenant.
A human that died but got kicked awake again. That's what you are. A revenant.
It's like a vampire. You need to keep drinking blood to stop yourself going mad. Stop yourself going hollow. And while you're out in the world, the miasma, which is something in the air, causes that madness, that bloodlust to speed up, which is why we wear those masks. So with your new vampire powers, you could pick up an insanely large weapon and just start swinging, but what we really care about here is the awesome blood veils and their abilities. Blood veils are your armor, and they come in different types. In the network test, I found about 5 different kinds that dress you in new visuals to go along with the insane vampire abilities they provide. You've got blood scorpion tails, giving you a big range poke from a distance. You've got big claws to dash forward, do that vicious swing. You've got this hilarious anime jacket that just so happens to never quite fall off your shoulders somehow, giving you these Wolverine maws to shoot out and bite at your enemies with. Not only do they do good damage, but they drain the enemy as well, which restores your Ichor, which is the resource you use to cast gifts. So it's like mana and spells, basically. Your Blood Veils will also activate for huge damage and anime AF animations with backstabs or parries, each with their own visual, draining even more Ichor. These can be used as their own attacks, or comboed into an attack string. Let's say you do a light into a drain. Not only will you do nice damage, it looks anime as hell, but you'll also drain that Ichor for gifts while you do it, so that's satisfying on all sides. It's a really good feature, and that's just good gameplay. Instead of being limited by my total mana, having X amount of spells and that's it, I'm out, I can restore that mana, that Ichor, by fighting, by using my drain abilities. So spellcaster builds have a great reason to go in there, do the melee combat in between casting their big spells for damage. Number 4. You could call these quality of life additions things that make the gameplay smoother and less confusing. So for example, as you explore the levels, the minimap at the top right will track your progress, which helps you map out the pathways, not waste time retracing steps or getting lost, and the minimap itself will update when you defeat certain big bad enemies or Purifying Missile, which basically work as checkpoints or bonfires from souls. On top of all of that, all items that drop or you move past are revealed by little X's on the minimap, so you have a really easy time grabbing those important items that you might otherwise walk right past or miss. Even enemies are highlighted on the minimap, so you don't need to wander around wondering where that enemy who's trying to get you at is, you just know. Best of all, the ultimate quality of life update and change that you can make is to change the awful dub to the original Japanese voice acting. Oh, thank the Lord.
Ouch. Hey, you okay?
So much better instantly. That voice actor would never say youch. He would never say youch. Look, I understand why people like dubs. It's easier, you don't have to read, and sometimes, in many cases, the dub voice acting can be really good. For example, Gyubu from Sekiro was actually better in the dub than the original. That's surprising, but it happens. But look, some of these characters, even the voices they chose for them, make no sense. It's pretty bad. And then you jump over to the original, and it's such good VA work, I swear, that it's hard to justify playing in dub.
We're gonna find a blood-bead bonanza.
Damn it! We're running out of time before the next collection.
Finally, at number 5, we have the co-op gameplay. When I first saw the various footage of Code Vein ages ago, I noticed that many players had a little NPC of some kind following them around, fighting with them, healing them, providing cringy voice lines. And I was concerned. I thought it was going to be irritating for the gameplay, and I was only half correct about this, thankfully. It's true, they're really useful. They provide lots of damage, hold aggro different enemies, which makes some boss fights particularly easier, and since Code Vein likes to send multiple big bads at you at once, it is really useful. And it seems like the game was designed to involve your companion, so playing without one can actually make the game really hard. Having said that, there is a code in the network test that's built around evasions and parries, which is obviously much more effective alone, where you know the enemy is going to not be interrupted by your companion's attack, and that enemy is coming specifically after you. The companions themselves do provide useful dialogue every now and then that warn you about places where you could fall and die, or highlight an item. Their gameplay is great, like I say, the damage they do is great, and they also will revive you when you die, which comes in clutch all the time. They're just straight up extremely useful. You can choose to go alone if you want to. You don't have to play with these companions. You can go solo right away if you want. You will be actively choosing to play in a harder way, but for many players, including me, when you beat the game once, or maybe you just want a challenge, something like this in the game is great. It's replayability. It's a rewarding challenge. A hard and easy mode built in the game from the start, which is what a lot of players want in regards to Souls games, so I'm impressed they've managed to get that in an easy, relevant way. Not to mention, the online play itself worked great. I just put out a little distress signal while playing, forgot about it, and in a few moments, players would appear in my world and help me out. I had no issues with connection. I saw a variety of great characters thanks to customization. I saw a few weapons that I hadn't found yet, and armor too, and everyone was just helpful and friendly. This is a game that I would absolutely love to play with a friend. It seems super built for it. And there you have it, my top 5 best things about Code Vein. I am really surprised by how much fun I had with this network test, and I'm really looking forward to playing it again, especially because it's releasing on PC as well, and I love me some no load times. What are you thinking about Code Vein? Either way, you can catch me live via my Twitch, which is linked in the description, but for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and I'll see you next time.